Okay. The chart is showing you all the discount arrays, the low on the day, the fair value gap that's below equilibrium of the range I've actually highlighted. And I showed you the fair value gap I was watching, which was the initial one, which in my mind was a little bit too early on a day that doesn't have a whole lot of news. And 8:30 was kind of quiet. So I said in the tweet, I said, I would, dig it higher. I would run one more time higher. And then, that's where I'm looking for down there, those discount arrays. If I was looking for something north, I would have told you where I'm looking for it. The chart shows exactly what the framework is. Now, if you're coming to me without any experience with me at all, it's going to be frustrating if you're here to try to get me to give you a trade signal, a setup, buy here, sell here, stop here, target here, partials here. I don't do that, folks. I don't do that for the people that actually paid me. Okay. I don't do signal services. Now, I could, obviously, you can see that I'm capable of doing that, but why will I refrain from doing it? I want you to understand this. Okay. I've had a lot of people come to me through my private group, and a lot of them paid to learn this skill set. I promised them, just like I'm promising them again publicly, I will not operate a signal service because there's a lot of my students that are actually doing it. They're operating signal services. And do I have a problem with that? Absolutely not. Nope, I don't have any problem with it at all. And it would be a really shitty move for me to go out here and start doing that and take any interest away from any of my students being able to do that as a business. Now, you might look at that and frown and say, well, I'd rather have you do it than them. I have some really good students, folks. And believe me, if they're not going to get out there and offer their signal service, which I'm telling you, it's their signals because I don't provide it for them. In my private group, I'm not sitting down and saying, okay, guys, here's what we're doing. Pull out your decoder rings. Everybody raise them in the air. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're all in attendance now. We're all going to buy here. And we're all going to put our stop loss here. And our partials are going to be here. And our targets are going to be here. There it is. Go. That's not what this is. Okay. The ICT way of learning is the school of hard knocks. You're going to get frustrated. And I do that for a reason. Because if you're lazy, if you're weak-minded, okay, if you are impatient, you're going to call me a piece of shit, a fraud, a con artist, and quit. Good day. See you later. I'm still doing what I'm doing. You won't be doing what I'm doing. And the folks that look past all that and say, you know what? I'm going to work with what he's given me, and we're going to see what we see. Those are the individuals that stuck with it. Now, today I gave you kind of like the 2016 version of what I was doing, sitting down with the private group in my daily sessions. I would outline something. I would point to something. I didn't have it drawn up on the chart like I was giving it to you, but I would talk about where I felt it was likely to go. Now, what am I doing there? I'm lending you my experience. This is where bias is framed. So the framework is what we're talking about here today. Now, there's two views. The uninitiated, the people that have no experience with me, how I teach, they look at that and think it's incomplete or it's two sides. He calls both sides of the marketplace. No, let me walk you through it, okay? Because I already blocked some goober this morning that said I called it both ways. There's no fucking way I called that both ways. There's no way that that's both ways. And the tweet's right there. This is what you don't understand. If you think that way, if you felt that way, understand this. This is how you go forward with me. And at least you'll have the better understanding and clarity as to what you're supposed to be doing. If I'm annotating a chart, okay, if I'm showing you something that's below the market price, in other words, at the time of the tweet, if I'm showing or if I'm referring to a price level that's below market price, that is me saying to you, I believe me, not that you should, I believe that the bias for that particular session, unless I say for the day, for that session would be bearish. Now, I'm interested and my attention was on that fair value gap that I showed in the tweet. That's my interest. Now, after I tweet, I have to make a decision just like you do. I'm not getting in a move. As you'll see, there was a real execution. It was demo. Just so you guys know, you'll see it's a demo channel. It was a trade that was not with real money. But it's Monday. There's no news. I'm trying to get a feel for it. Exactly what I said in the tweet. I'm trying to get closer to price action because I don't see anything in the economic calendar that has me, convinced one way or the other. But based on what I was showing you in the tweet this morning, my bias was bearish. Clearly, everything in the chart was annotated below market price. Now, what did I mean by if it were me, I would rip it higher? Now, what I'm saying there is I'd like to see it run one more time, make a higher high to upset anybody else that wants to get in early and then come back to that same fair value gap that I was annotating in the chart. That's what I meant. Now, my students understand that because we'll use a fair value gap again. Now, for folks that think they know fair value gaps because they watched me or they learned from somebody else parroting what I've taught, they won't see it that way. So there's two views. There's the initiated, the people that understand what I'm doing, and they understand where I'm pointing. Okay? I do this. I'm telling you, I have real students that are in the Twitter audience, and they're constantly coming in saying to people that will chime in because they're frustrated. Oh, but sir, you said this and this and this. Look, man, you're not paying attention to the most important things. The most salient things are in that chart that I tweeted. And where did price go? There, and went lower. Now, did I think this morning it was going to overshoot that fair value gap? Admittedly, no, I didn't think it was going to do that. I thought this afternoon it could have done it. But I don't know. Every time I put something out now, it just seems like it's like a ravenous pack of wolves jumped all over it and it starts to run, which I find interesting. But I engaged the second fair value gap. Okay. There was a gentleman that tweeted saying that I really didn't say a sell or a buy, so I really didn't call the market. Again, listen to what I'm saying here. And if you look at what goes on, how I teach, that's what I'm doing. I'm pointing downrange. Okay, that might be above the marketplace or down below the marketplace. And today, there was no chart pointing to anything higher. Did I even give a level above market price? No. I am not pulling things out of thin air. I'm giving you a logic to focus on. One setup this morning, but if the setup doesn't form an entry, then there's nothing for us to do, period. Some of you actually entered on that fair value gap and you've proven it by tweeting it to me. After I started talking about and shared my thoughts about the marketplace, and here's my framework, here's what I'm paying attention, here's my attention right now. So I'm tipping my hand to you. And to be honest with you, this is going to sound arrogant, but you should be fucking glad I'm doing that because I hold this stuff back for a reason. There's a lot of little assholes out there that run around creating little mentorships, parroting everything I say, never crediting anything. They didn't go through the bullshit that I had to go through to learn this. And it makes them look superhuman because they're calling out things and referring to things that I'm doing. And that's why I wait till the last minute, because I've learned that there's a dozen of them, at least that I know of, that are in my mentorship. And I'm trying to find out which user group they're in, and so I can remove them, just to take their meal ticket away. So I understand that there's going to be audience members that come to me, and they're going to look at what I'm doing, and it's going to feel like, well, he's really not doing anything, when in fact I'm doing a whole lot. It's just you want me to sit down with you and say, okay, I'm concerned about you believing that I can do this. I'm so concerned that I'm going to lose sleep over this. And I'm so anxious that people are going to think I'm a fraud that I'm going to have to sit down with you on a day-by-day basis and tell you where to buy, where to sell, put a stop loss, take a profit target, run up a live account, win Robin's Cup, break Olympic records, do backflips off of things in the beach, okay? Sit in there and talk about stupid shit in videos, then don't prove anything else. That's what everybody else does. You want me to do all these things every time I do something new, or in addition to what I was ever willing to do. It's never going to be enough. But I'm telling you, I'm never going to put you in trades. It's not going to happen. One, because I just ain't going to do it. Because if I did that, everybody would be out there running services and just doing what I'm doing. and they would make lots of money, and that would get on my fucking nerves. Okay, I wouldn't do it. I will not do that. Now, I've also told this to my students that are running signal services or planning to do so, that if they have a large group, they're going to have that same thing. People are going to come in, they're going to rip them off and copy their trades and such, and there's no way around it. So to avoid that shit, because it would get on my nerves, I avoid doing it, number one. Two, I keep that market there for my students, because there's a lot of people out there that are never going to learn how to do this. They're going to watch me teach this stuff for free and prove that it works. And they're still going to bitch and complain to me. Oh, I just can't make this work. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm still confused. But you said this in this other video, forgetting everything I just said about that very morning, what we're looking at. They're talking about gold. Who the fuck said anything about gold today? Nobody mentioned gold. I didn't talk about gold. No mention of gold. Why are you asking me about gold? I don't give a fuck about gold. Gold sucks. I don't like gold. Okay, there it is. It's just like crypto to me. Okay, I don't want to trade.